All right, we are live. Welcome back. This is John, Carnivore Backwoods, and we are on the Carnivore Roundtable Sunday at 1 p.m. every week. Looking forward to talking to you guys. We've got a good one planned out for today. Carnivore Myths, Carnivore Mythbusters. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get some guys on here. I appreciate everybody. All right, all right. Work our way around here, do some introductions. We got Brett Hoosier Carnivore. I was going to say that backwards for some reason. Hoosier Carnivore. How you doing today, Brett?
Oh, we're doing great. Happy New Year to everybody, and ready to get going. Let's go.
And Brett has that background because he lives up north, and it's always cold, like like an ice box. So it just makes him feel comfortable. Larry, Carnivore Soldier, bud. It's good to have you back on the show.
Yeah, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming in from Austin, Texas. I'm here.
How's the weather down there? I bet it's not as cold as the meat locker.
Going to be 71 today and sunny. So I'm going to go run on the track. I'm running my sprints after this. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
All right. So, Carrie, how's Nashville?
Hey, it's great. The sun finally decided to come out today. I've been doing my morning walks and I record the sunrise every day, and I just post it just to wish everybody a great day. And the last few mornings have been just cloudy and quite frankly ugly. So it's a struggle to find something positive when it's like that. I'll be like, well, at least it's not raining. But
I understand. I live off grid, and in the last week or so, I've had to run my generator probably about every other day or two. Because I'm just not producing enough electricity to keep my batteries charged. So, yeah, it's nice to see the sun out today.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful here.
Well, guys, so today we're going to have a conversation about myths on the carnivore diet. There's lots of good ones out there. I think Larry came prepared. He did some research, came up with some good ones. So we'll work off that list. But if you guys got a myth that you want to talk about, put it in the comments. And, of course, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Go over and like and subscribe to all these guys' channels. They're all working hard to provide you guys content, and we appreciate them for being here. So it looks like we're getting a few people in here. Let me see who we got going on here. Mike Shaw. We'll say hi to Mike real quick. How you doing, sir? We got Don's in the house. Don, good to see you, bud. My Weight Loss Life. And Living in Carnivore UK. We got a bunch of YouTube channels already on here. That's outstanding. Appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
So, Larry, you got one you want to throw up, start with, or you want me to come up with one, or what?
Let me take a look. I
have one that I can
start. All right, go ahead, Gary.
It's carnivore related. That high salt or eating what they would consider high salt causes high blood pressure. And I can tell you for a fact that it does not. And even though I had white coat syndrome, in other words, my blood pressure was never awful, but it was creeping up there. And even after I'd gone keto, it was still like in the 138 range for the top number, for example, like 138 over 83. So it, at the doctor's office. So I just had an appointment, and it's been steadily going down after being on carnivore. And my last appointment, it was 111 over 71. Ooh, and that was at the doctor's office, and they didn't even have to retake it to, get the number down, because they know that it's usually lower if they take it a second or third time. But I just thought that was fabulous. So anyway, so that is one myth about the salt, red meat, all that, and high blood pressure. Big myth.
Trust me, I consume a ton of salt, especially since I've been on this diet since back in March. And I got a great video on my blood pressure, and you can watch my blood pressure drop. I've been consuming the same amount of salt since the beginning, and I still consume the same amount of salt now, and it's never, ever caused me to have high blood pressure. And in fact, the longer I've been on this diet, the better my blood pressure's got. So it's definitely a myth that I've busted. What's your thoughts, Larry?
My thoughts?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on salt
Yeah,
and the myth?
I love it. I eat lots of salt. I have no high blood pressure issues. Yeah, I think it's a completely debunked myth, and actually, there's papers done on it too now that they've kind of backed off on all that salt. I mean, they were saying salt and coffee and all these things, and I think they're pretty much wives' tales that somehow got into our medical system, and once they did, they were picked up and just have been carried on, and it's just totally bogus. So,
there are people that still say it. Doctors and different people, they will still say, cut back on your salt.
I remember my father when he had his, he was dealing with high blood pressure and the onset of diabetes and stuff. That was one of the things they were telling him. You got no salt, no salt on anything. And that's absolutely false, and it causes other health problems. And they finally backed off of it. But you'd be amazed. It's the same people that go around going, "Oh my God, you're going to clog your arteries because you're consuming cholesterol," right? Well, that's another myth right there along the lines that there's no facts behind that, but it's been repeated so many times. It's become people's beliefs.
All right, I'm gonna drop a topic in so you can make a banner or whatever if you want, John.
Okay.
Of a myth. I have a couple myths here. I'm gonna put in here just for you. Then we can discuss them if you want. We've done it before the show, but we're gonna do it on the fly. So there you go.
I can piggyback off of what Carrie said about my blood pressure coming down, because before I had blood pressures around 160 is my top number. And the last time, and that was probably a year ago, and I consume more salt now than I ever have in my whole life. And my blood pressure top number last time I had it checked was like 139, 140. And I got salt for Christmas. I got a Redmond real salt pack of the different ones. So
that's what I got my son too. I got him because he barbecues and grills, and he cooks a lot, and I got him a whole Redmond's care package, and he was thrilled with it. But that was funny because I posted a comment on your post that it looks like it looked exactly like what I got my son.
I got a lot of good carnivore gifts for Christmas. I got Kicking Ass After 50 book by Dr. Berry. I got his Common Sense Labs book. I got salt. I got some chomp sticks. We did good at Christmas this year.
You sure did.
Yeah. My sister gave me some great carnivore gifts at Thanksgiving. She brought me a big old mason jar of homemade tallow that she made. It was fantastic. Ooh. And then she brought me a big old jar full of homemade smoked beef broth.
Ooh.
And from the smoker, right? So I was like, oh yeah, it's legit.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
For a carnivore, it's such a good gift to give someone. I gave my son tallow soap because he's a carnivore too. So I got like some nice tallow soap on Amazon. There's lots of different kinds. So I got him one and got me one, of course, because I like tallow soap. But that was like a stocking stuffer. No sweets in the house. It was great. It was a great Thanksgiving, a great Christmas. Really, really fun. So my son's only 14, so he's already carnivore. He's way ahead of us. I can't imagine what his life's going to be like.
Yeah.
So, I went ahead and I went to Google Bard, which I recommend if you're doing AI. I'm a big proponent of Google Bard over the other ones because it's the most conservative answers or the most least filtered answers, I would say, that you'll find out there. I've done tests and I've seen other people do tests, and it's consistently a better answer field. And I asked Google Bard to come up with 10 carnivore diet myths, and it came up, bam, 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 cranked them right out. It was really good. So we have 10 myths to go over. I don't know if we'll get through all of them, right, John? But
we'll do what we can.
Yeah, do what we can.
Not in any particular order, just the way you laid them out. So I got the first one up on the screen. The carnivore diet is nutritionally deficient.
Yeah. Well, I would just say one answer is like see Dr. Chafee or see Maggie, and then that's all I got. Someone who's been on for 10 years or someone who's been on for 60 years. There was the big myth about it's still out there about scurvy, right? But I actually posted on my YouTube channel on the community page that there were studies back in the 19th century, late 19th century, that show that Napoleon treated scurvy in his army with meat, and that the British Navy treated their sailors with fresh meat when they had scurvy. That's what they treated them with, because the fresh ruminant meat has vitamin C in it. And the only sailors and soldiers that got scurvy were the ones that were on a bread diet and didn't get fruit. Yep. So if you're not on a bread diet, you don't need the fruit, because the carnivores' vitamin C, and this, I'm not a doctor, but according to what I understand, is their vitamin C requirement is nanograms. Whereas if you're on a standard diet eating bread and sugars and all that, then you're milligram requirement. So it's a magnitudes of order difference in the amount of vitamin C you need.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So I have these conversations with people all the time. And they're like, well, aren't you afraid you're not getting enough of this? Or what supplements are you taking? I'm like, none. I'm not taking any supplements. I get everything I need from what I'm eating, and I'm actually feeling better and doing better now than I ever have before.
Yep.
Chief, he talked about having beef and being, you shouldn't have to do any kind of supplements if you're eating the right things.
Says Dr. Chafee, if you're eating food that you need to supplement, you're eating the wrong diet.
You're eating the wrong diet, right?
That's
the most nutritionally dense foods you can eat.
You should supplement like a caveman.
Yeah.
Which is not, right?
Right.
That's how we got here.
I had a someone that I've known for years, and this person is a very kind, good person and has been good to me throughout the years, but they approached me with concern that I wasn't eating vegetables, that I wasn't getting proper nutrition. And what's funny is this is the same person who said that it was gross that I eat sardines and cod liver. I mean, hello, if you, especially on carnivore, if you eat those two things, I mean, there's not any, I mean, I fully believe that, beef does have all the nutrients you need. But I mean, if you're getting in the fish, the sardines plus some form of liver, now I don't eat those things. Well, I eat a lot of sardines, but the cod livers I eat on average about once a week, sometimes twice. But I mean, I'm getting all kinds of nutrients out of that. And the only things I supplement with is magnesium, vitamin D3, and K2. And that's it.
And let me ask you, did that same person ever in your history come to you and say, I'm concerned about you eating cake or pizza or hamburgers and French fries?
Nope.
Never, right? Yeah.
No.
Even though we know that's complete poison. And that's the thing. Would you guys like to hear what Google Bard says the answer is to this? I can
sure.
Okay. Fact. I like the way they start with fact. Animal products are packed with essential nutrients, including protein, iron, zinc, vitamin B12, which you can't get from plants, which is why vegans would die off if they were on their own, and choline. Organ meats, liver in particular, are especially nutrient dense. While some vitamins and minerals are typically found in plant-based foods, like vitamin C and fiber, these can be obtained through supplementation or small amounts of low-carb vegetables, but you don't have to. That's the thing. Vitamin C, there's nothing meat. I'm sure Google Bard is looking at the RDA, which is based on the standard American diet, which is wrong for a carnivore.
Right.
You don't need those levels if you're a carnivore. I'm living proof. So are you guys. So that's the answer. So it's fact.
Nice.
Meat has the vitamins we need.
British sailors had their daily rations on lime juice, to which they added rum and watered it down a bit. As long as they had their lime juice, the Navy was okay with it.
That's right. That's why they call them limeys. But when they did get scurvy, like they did run out of limes. Okay. And when they did get scurvy, when they brought them back, they would treat them with fresh meat. And I have a post. Go to YouTube, go to Carnivore Soldier, go to my community page. You'll see the post where I picked from books, science books that talk about this, historically documented, where Napoleon's soldiers and the British Navy sailors got scurvy and they were treated with fresh meat because fresh meat was the proper treatment. We've lost that knowledge. I don't know how, but we lost it.
Mike says no scurvy, no cavities.
No
100%.
cavities. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something interesting. If you ever look at anthropologists to talk about it, when they find skeletons that are carnivore tribes, they can't tell how old the adults are when they died. All they can tell is juvenile or adult on a skeleton. When they find skeletons that have been eating grains and vegetables with their diet, they usually can age the skeleton based on arthritis in the joints and the teeth decay. So there's no tooth decay on the carnivore tribes. Pretty interesting.
Interesting. All right. So let's scurvy check. I don't have scurvy. You have scurvy, Brett? Nope. You're good. Larry, you got scurvy?
Not yet. I'm waiting. I'm on scurvy watch.
You're on scurvy watch. Carrie, scurvy
Nope.
check.
No scurvy, here.
You know, I say we've debunked that myth. Let's move on to the next one here.
John, you got a new mic, huh? That's cool.
Yeah. I picked this up about a month and a half ago.
That's how long it's been since we've been on.
Oh, wow.
I guess so. All right. Sound better?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Good. All right. Myth number 2, eating meat is bad for your heart. We're all going to have a heart attack and die.
Yeah.
Well, who wants to start on this one?
Jump in.
I mean, I'll start with the Google Bard answer. Again, fact. I like that.
If you want to share your screen, I can put it up.
Nah, it's my emails. It's good.
Okay.
Actually, I can do that. Let me see if I can do that. So it just says the link between red meat and I'm sorry. While saturated fat from red meat was once demonized, recent research indicates it may not be the primary culprit in heart disease. So Google's getting it right. Studies have shown that carnivore diet. You see, that's what I'm saying. You got to use Google Bard. Don't use, because if you use Chat GPT, it's going to be all about plant oils. I guarantee it. Studies have shown that the carnivore diet can positively impact blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and other heart disease risk factors. Although I would say cholesterol levels in themselves aren't a heart attack disease factor. Certain ratios can be, right? But so anyway, between the nanolipids, right, LDL and HDL, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can share this, John, while you guys discuss. But anyway, I agree with that. I mean, that's pretty good. Google got it pretty right.
That's incredible.
It's actually really good.
I told you.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you sold me.
Okay,
here's the proper answer to this, guys. Okay, so here's the answer. Carnivore, click the wrong one.
Yep,
it's moved on me. Yep. Stop moving. There it is. It does break my heart when ribeye's not on sale.
There you go. That's the heart. That's the heart disease.
Yeah.
That's the bad heart. That's bad for your heart when your heart gets broken.
That's bad for your heart when ribeye's not on sale. You just seen I walked into Food City down here, and they had a whole bunch of standing roasts on sale for like $9.99 a pound. And of course, they had already cut it off the rib, but the rib was still there. And I walked over, I'm like, can you cut this into 3/4 inch steaks? And I'm like, oh, and grab this one here. Walked out with $200 worth of meat. Had them cut them all into ribeye steaks. So I'll take all this with me. And the guy was like, oh.
Sweet.
Well, there's a kind of a multi-pronged thing about this topic with beef being hard on your heart. Well, one kind of angle on that is eating a low carb carnivore diet improves your ketones, and your heart actually runs better on ketones than it does on sugar. Also, if you ever have a CAC score done for calcification, being on a low carb diet will actually lower your CAC score over time for many people. And there's just a multi-pronged thing about this that actually shows that, that beef is actually beneficial and is better for you than probably almost anything you could eat. So,
yeah, I mean, and not to mention the inflammation goes away when you're on a meat diet.
right.
That's huge for the heart. The visceral fat can go away. So the visceral fat is the fat that goes around your organs. It'll decrease and go away, especially if you exercise, walking or sprinting or whatever, lifting weights. So yeah, there's a lot of benefit that goes along with eating meats that are not direct. But yeah, I think this is totally debunked. Anyone else?
I agree wholeheartedly. It's debunked, but it's the first thing anybody will ask you. The minute you tell them you're on the carnivore diet, they're like, aren't you afraid that you're going to get heart disease from eating all that meat?
Well, and here's the interesting thing. When you eat only meat or very low carb or whatever, you reduce, obviously, your glucose levels and all of that. So you reduce your A1C. Of course, your triglycerides go down. And so basically you eliminate metabolic syndrome. You lose weight. Typically, people lose weight. So you've gotten rid of the number one risk of heart disease by not having diabetes, because that's the number one risk factor.
Right. I agree.
Exactly. All of that's really what it comes down to. Once you eliminate diabetes and you get your blood pressure under control and you get the inflammation out of your body from getting off all the fake fats, you've actually reduced your chance of heart and cancer and all kinds of other things dramatically. It's not eating the meat that was the issue. It was all the garbage that went along with it. And you ate meat on top of it, and so they blame the meat versus all the other crap that we were eating.
So I wanted to throw something in, make this myth 2A. And Dr. Berry talked about an article where someone came out and said that meat causes diabetes.
Yep.
Sure, you've all seen that.
Yes, there's so many carbohydrates in meat that's just causing your blood sugar to spike.
I don't know how twisted and tainted those results had to be to come out with that test and how they came out with that result, but it's crazy.
They all went to McDonald's for lunch and they all ordered the Big Mac, super size with a fry and a Coke. And they blamed the hamburger that was in there for the fact that they all got fat and got heart disease versus the bread, the sugar, the soda, all this other crap that they were consuming. No, that's just incidental. It was the meat. The meat's the reason why we're having these problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll address the ChatGPT thing. So the ChatGPT is connected to the internet. I think you saw that later. You said. But the big problem with ChatGPT is it is trained by a group of people who have certain leanings in their belief, which includes, veganism, vegetarianism, and even a World Health Organization type stuff. So they're gonna skew their answers because their answers are trained by people, and that's the way it works. And Google's training is more open. There's a lot of, you can look it up. There's a lot of articles and YouTube videos about it where people show the difference. All
right. So I got a question here. It's not carnivore, but we'll put it up here and we'll look at it. I make this, I take 2 grapefruit skins and 4 lemons and put them in an Instapot with a filtered water, cook it, take a tablespoon in the morning and night. Haven't been sick in 3.5 years.
Okay. Good for you.
I mean, that's great. I don't know what to say on that.
No, yeah. So what were you eating those 3.5 years too? I was curious. So
yeah, were you on the carnivore diet plus doing this?
Yeah, because I haven't been 6 to 7 carnivore diet and I don't do that.
Right. Well, they're not getting the meat and the pulp and the juice that contains all the sugar and carbs. And, fruit doesn't have the same things in it that are trying to kill us as, spinach and leafy greens and the other things that Dr. Chafee talks about a lot. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe there's something magical in the oil from those fruits that's helping out, but I've never heard of that. But
yeah,
it's something I guess
it could be coincidental. I mean,
it could be coincidental.
You don't know.
And it could be that, with the vitamin C, and as we were talking before, that when you're eating carbs and other things like that, you do need to get those fruits in. Whereas if you're just eating the meat, so it's not to say that, oh, that wouldn't work, that recipe wouldn't work. It's just in context with what you're eating, maybe. So maybe it does help if somebody is eating closer to the standard American diet or the low fat or whatever.
And the more you cook a plant or a fruit, the more you cook them, the more poisons will come down. That's why our grandparents used to cook vegetables down to mush, because that's what they were taught, because that's the safest way to eat them when they're mushy, because a lot of the toxins get cooked out. Not all of them. Still have fiber stuff, but I remember my grandma's green beans. Everything was like a mush. I mean, just you put your spoon in it, you cut into green beans, and that's the way they served them, right? Because they actually detoxify quite a bit. So they knew what they were doing, and they tasted awful then and taste awful now. So I'm not going to do it. We have more questions though, John. I see some more. Have you been tagging them?
I didn't see any. Well, I got a queue here, but you wanted to hit this one real quick, and then we'll go down to this next question section, Mark.
That's the next myth. So
that's the next myth. We'll get back to that in a minute then. All right. So let's get
eating red meat causes cancer is the next myth.
I have been carnivore for nearly 13 months. I got most of the benefits, e.g. reduced hunger, muscle body, healed my
myocarditis. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. Chest pains due to COVID vaccine and increased strength, etc.
Cool. There's another one after that at 12:23 or 1:23 your time.
Yep.
Oh, it's
headed to
second part. Second part.
However, my knee pains remain. No idea why. It does not always go away, unlike most carnivore dieters who healed their knee pains, arthritis after a few months. I miss jogging days.
My pain went away when I cut coffee out. Unfortunately, that was personal to me. Not everyone has that, but my arthritis pains went away when I went. What happened was I went lion diet for 30 days, which meant no coffee, and came back, reintroduced coffee several months after my lion diet, and guess what? My arthritis came right back. So I knew exactly what caused it. So now I've removed coffee again. My arthritis is gone. So I would just examine your diet and look at eliminating everything for a while to see how you can get rid of it.
And that can include seasonings and things like that, things that you might not even imagine. So I like that idea of the lion diet for 30 days and just get rid of everything.
Benchmark.
I would say that it's absolutely good to eliminate everything and then reintroduce and see where you're at on it, because a lot of people have some issues. Coffee, pepper, seasonings. There's lots of things out there that could still be causing issues that you would. It's like, pepper won't cause me any issues. Well, black pepper has caused a lot of issues for a lot of people, so that's something to be looking into.
Well, in trying an ultimate elimination diet, if it doesn't do it, then you probably need to go to your doctor, get some tests done, x-rays, because you may have an actual injury or something that hasn't healed correctly, or there's all kinds of reasons why you could have knee pain.
If you've lost the cartilage in your knees, all the carnivore diet in the world is not going to regrow that. So if you've already done the damage, there's the damage is done. It should get better, maybe feel better a little bit, but it may not ever go away.
Right.
And that's definitely something that you need to delve into with the doctor.
Yeah.
All right. We good on that question, Larry?
I think that's all the questions I saw. So we're up to speed.
Oop, there we go.
So eating meat causes cancer. Now this is one Google Bard got a little off because it's kind of believing, but if you read the language carefully, you'll see that it's kind of right, because I'm going to make this bigger. Hold on. Because their wordage, I guess I can't zoom in. So it says eating meat causes cancer. The fact, the link between meat and cancer is complex and inconclusive. That's 100% fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that it is inconclusive. I would not say it's complex, but only because people running the studies are making it complex. It's not complex. While processed meats have been linked to, and when they say linked to, that just means it's a correlation. Right? You could say, hey, more people that watch HBO get cancer. So HBO has been linked to cancer, right? And it could be a fact. but it doesn't mean, correlation is not causation. So this does only say linked to an increased risk of certain cancers. The evidence for unprocessed meat is less clear. So even if there's evidence, it's really a correlation evidence, not a causation. So I don't think, and actually when you look at processed foods, what is processed foods? What do they process it with? Plants. They add plants to the meat, whether it's sugar, maltodextrin, all these things come from plants. So that's what they're adding to the meat. So when you add sugar to a meat, guess what? The meat's less good for you. I mean, that's just the way you look at it. But I'm not going to say I still eat sausage and pepperoni. I eat some of that stuff. Not a lot. Not when I'm on Lion, but I do on my daily diet. I'll grab a meat stick every now and then, clean as I can find, The carnivore diet typically emphasizes unprocessed meat. True. Potentially making it a lower risk option. True. Unprocessed meat is probably better quality, but I don't think there is literally, when you're talking about absolute risk, not relative risk, because I think these guys look at relative risk and they don't know the difference. Absolute risk would be the difference between eating regular meat and processed meat would be like buying one lottery ticket versus buying 2 lottery tickets. Your odds of winning the lottery have not appreciably changed. But relatively, you have 50% greater chance of winning now, right? So that's the difference between relative and absolute. Your absolute winning odds have not changed at all. So I think eating those 2 meats, there's no real difference so that's all I got on that.
Well, and going back to what we said earlier about meat causing diabetes, because people were eating buns and French fries and everything else, and then blaming the meat. I think a lot of that, with meat getting blamed for causing certain kinds of cancer, that kind of goes hand in hand. Because if you look back over history, cancer hasn't really been a thing until recently in human history. The Inuit and American Indians that ate primarily meat-based diets, they didn't die of cancer. They didn't have cancer. So it's more of the bread and French fries and all the other things that get eaten along with the meat that's probably causing the issue. And I'm looking forward to there's more studies getting ready to hit soon. And I'm really looking forward to seeing those. And a cholesterol study coming too.
You can look at dogs and wolves, right? Dogs, the number one killer of domesticated dogs right now is cancer. Number one killer. Wolves don't get cancer. That's just the way it is. They just don't. It's very, 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 very rare to find a wolf with cancer. But dogs, number one killer. The difference between those two, and they're so close genetically, they can breed. That's pretty dang close.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Here's a funny comment. My house hippo loves it when I eat this way because I changed her diet because poojas have been beside man since prehistoric times. The house hippo.
Nice.
Yeah, and what's in dog food? Grains.
Yeah, and actually, it's worse than that. Watch the documentary on Evil Food. I think it's called the Evil Food channel or something like that. And they have documentary on the dog food. It's terrible. You don't want to feed your dog that after you see that. You don't.
Here's an answer to that question from earlier. I have an old knee injury, meniscus tear from martial arts. It's much better, but still hurts from time to time. Once you've done the damage, it's not all going to go away.
Yeah, meniscus is not coming back. So my ankle is tissue damage like that. It's ruptured tendons. It's jacked. And my shoulder too. They're not growing back, but the pain does go away. So
yeah, it can ease your symptoms, but it won't cure the damage. Yeah.
When the hubby had cancer, we couldn't get his pH up until we stopped coffee. Once he stopped it went back to normal.
Nice. Yeah. So, it sucks. I love coffee, but I don't drink it anymore. It does suck. But you know what? Life's not fair. Suck it up and drive on. That's all I got to say. I'm a soldier and I just do it, So I'm not going to be nice about it. I'm not going to be kid gloves. If you want the results, sometimes if you want the best results, you have to do the best practices. That's just the way it is. That's life.
I'm just looking for questions in the comments, you guys, if you want to continue on. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll do myth 4. The carnivore diet is bad for the environment. I love this one. This is one of my favorites. let's see what myth 4 says. Fact. It's true that animal agriculture contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. However, the environmental impact of the carnivore diet depends on several factors, such as sourcing of meat and the individual's overall consumption. Choosing sustainably raised grass-fed animals can significantly reduce the environmental footprint. Wow, Google got it right pretty much.
Yeah.
But only partially. So I mean, the thing, I'll just jump in real quick and say, the thing I look at, if you look at a Quest bar, or you look at something like this, it's made in a factory. This is seasoning. One factory made the plastic. One factory made the cracked the petrochemicals to make the plastic. Then all the factories that made all these seasonings that are mixed, they're bought from different places. Then some factory made this ink, and some factory made the glue and the label. You have all this supply chain. Think of the greenhouse emissions just to make this one thing. And you look at a Quest bar, all the factories that had to come together to make the parts for that. Whereas I could just go get a cow, kill it, freeze it, and eat it. And that's huge, very small footprint compared to all those factories, that you're buying and you're consuming. And then on top of that, the garbage, literally a tenth of what I used to make. That's me.
That's true.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
I think the earth can handle cow farts just fine.
Right. Thank you.
The earth doesn't have, the earth puts up with a lot, and handling cow farts and buffalo farts and deer and elk and all the other wildebeest and all the other animals out there, it can handle that just fine.
What about vegan farts?
Yeah, exactly. I made a lot of farts back when I ate a standard diet.
No, but I mean, really, what's the difference between it's all the same thing. So I don't know. That argument just never made sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, just think if you shut down all the factories.
I just thought it was a joke. I really did. The first time I heard that about cow farts, I just thought it was a joke. I did not realize anybody was seriously using that as a theory and a basis for people to not eat meat. I thought they were pulling my leg.
No, they're serious. But just think, we shut down all those factories. We shut them all down and replace them with cows. I mean, we're talking about oil refineries that are refining seed oil. So that's what they are. They are just like a petrochemical plant. They're just not using petroleum. They're using plants. But you get rid of all those and all the energy they're using and all the waste they're making, and then all the trucking that stuff across from their factory to another factory to another factory to your doorstep, to the grocery store to your doorstep. All that goes away. Guess what? The greenhouse stuff goes away. I guarantee you. We all eat meat, and we all buy local, right?
If you look back in history too, there were a lot more ruminant animals on this planet 200, 300 years ago than there are today. So how are cow farts contributing to global emissions problems?
Yeah, it's the mass hysteria. You get a large group of people together, and they'll come up with something just absolutely screwy, right? So, I mean, we can live on a planet where we're polluting the world with all kinds of artificial stuff. We're making chemicals out of everything. You got emissions out of vehicles that are polluting. People pouring crap down the gutters that's polluting the planet, and we're going to focus on cow farts. And that's the leading cause of problems. Not the fact that we're doing all this other crap to the world, but no, let's focus on those cows out there because they fart a little bit. Because not like everything on the planet that's living doesn't fart. So no, it's just absolutely insane. But that's how you keep everybody focused away from the issue. Is you come up with something stupid and you just keep pushing on it, and everybody will sit there and try to argue it out.
Yeah, with no critical thinking whatsoever. No one does any critical thinking. Electric cars are going to save the world, but where's the power come from, right? No critical thinking.
Well, yeah.
No critical thinking.
Yeah.
Renee says her cows don't fart.
Yes, they do, Renee.
They must belch.
Belches too. Yeah.
We had 130 million buffalo. We had 130 million buffalo roaming this country before we killed them to punish the Indians, which is such a terrible idea, but we did. and they were fine.
Well, and the progressive thinking on this will obviously be once the cows are gone, then we'll have to. Well, it must be the sheep farts, and so we'll have to go after the sheep. And now the sheep are gone, so we'll have to go after the goat farts. And now we're gonna have to go after the pig farts. Until everybody's eating bugs. But then there'll be like something on that. I mean, it's just absolute insanity.
It's an excuse. It's just an excuse for them to try to demonize the things they don't approve of. That's all. It's just an excuse.
I agree. No questions yet. I don't see
any in there. I'm looking through there.
Renee says she's heard them belch.
She's had her cows for 6 years. Yet to hear one fart. Just saying. Well, they're polite cows, Renee. They're not farting around you. They wait till you walk away.
Right.
They're sneaky.
That's great.
Oh, what do we got here? Alaskan carnivore Vincent J. and Stewart, Alaska was convinced my med professor that RT knee replacement and spinal fusion was needed for chronic pain relief until I found carnivore 120 days ago. Med's gone. Outstanding. Woo. Congratulations.
I had personally a back injury that I thought would be with me the rest of my life. I thought it's just part of getting old and in the military, because I carried a lot of gear, did a lot of stuff, crazy stuff. And my ankle injury, my knee injury, I thought I could no longer run since 2017. I did not run. In fact, I had what's called a walking profile in the Army, which means that my ankle is bad, so I could speed walk, which is basically like a forced march, for 3 miles instead of running 2 miles for my PT test. And I just assumed the rest of my life I'd never run. I just assumed that. But guess what? Today after this, I'm going to running sprints, because I run sprints now. And it's amazing, but my back's healed. I deadlift, I squat. I'm doing all the stuff I did in college and getting to the weights I was there. And my body is going back to my college weight at 57 years old. No joke. This thing's legit. So, make whatever excuses you want or change your life. You make the decision, but I'm telling you, this is life-changing. This is the first time you've ever seen a vehicle that delivers on the work you put in on it, period. Never seen one like this.
Yeah, totally agree. The benefits.
Down the rabbit fart hole we go. There we go.
Yes.
What were you saying, Carrie?
Well, I was just saying that the benefits, and of course, I know that we'll probably get into that, but it's non-scale stuff too. It's people look at it as a weight loss thing, but there's so many other benefits to it. And I've heard many people say that if they still kept the weight but continued feeling the way they do, they're as active as they are, that they would be fine with that, because they lived with these aches and pains and things that they just thought they would have forever. And like for me, I thought I was going to have anxiety for the rest of my life. Sometimes it was debilitating. It got better with keto, but man, going carnivore, I mean, it's just gone. I would have never been on a stream like this before. So it's all of these things that it does. And you're right, the return on investment, just in the way you feel, is the best I've ever seen for just about anything. Yeah,
bottom line for me, anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and the mental, like you said, the mental for sure. Mental, I think there's 3 things that change. Your weight, that's big. Your mental, the motivation level, stress, anxiety, depression, confidence levels coming back, feeling more like a man, because I can do stuff like I did. I didn't feel as much of a man as I was when I could run. And when I was 280 pounds, I felt like less of a man, and felt like a poor soldier. And I could go back in today and be a better soldier than I was in like 2016, 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, I could go back and do it. And that's why you see Julius Caesar had 60-year-old guys in his army. Well, if they were like me, they would have been freaking beast mode. And I think they were, and a lot of guys had older guys. The Huns did too. So, I mean, they ate meat.
Ready to move on to the next myth?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Myth 5, the carnivore diet doesn't have enough fiber. Well, that's because it has 0 fiber, which is by design.
Yeah.
But let me say, okay, Google kind of gets it. Okay, fiber is primarily found in plant-based foods. That's a fact. However, the gut microbiome can adapt to produce some fiber on a carnivore diet. I did not know that. I believe it, though. That may be true. Additionally, small amounts of low-carb vegetables can be incorporated to boost fiber intake without breaking ketosis. That's true, but I would not recommend it, because what fiber is, by definition, is an undigestible sugar. And that's what ferments and gives you gas. And you only need fiber, apparently, on a standard diet when you have all these carbohydrates, because fiber will move the carbohydrates to you, because those carbohydrates are going to give you gas and indigestion and GERD, like I had. I used to have GERD. I had all kinds of IBS. I have none of that now. So once you eat just meat, you don't need fiber. You just eat some butter, and that'll soften your stool up. And you just have small. Basically, my poop's like scat now. It's like I'm like more like a wild animal when I go, you know, and I don't go very often.
Right.
And it's the easiest going that you've ever had to do.
Totally. Yeah, and it's over in a few minutes. I used to read on the toilet. I don't have time.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been there, but I mean, it comes down to, you're like, oh my, you go in there and your mindset's like, oh, I'm going to be in there for a minute. And then you're like, boop, I'm done.
And I don't even turn my fan on no more. It don't stink, man. That's great.
So I did some deep diving into the whole fiber, and colon cancer and all that crap that, that they went and preach. Well, first of all, that's been debunked a couple of times, and you can look that up. But, if you go back and look at original studies, so the original study didn't say that eating fiber stopped you from getting colon cancer. What the actual original study said is if you had colon cancer and you consumed a high diet in fiber, there was less mortality. So the only thing that actually came out of that study is if you had colon cancer and you were consuming a high fiber diet, this is correlation, right? So you can take it for what it's worth. There was less death. That's the outcome of that study. Nothing in there actually said that eating it was actually healthier for you, that you had less chance of getting colon cancer. It was simply came back to whether or not you were going to die or not, supposedly, while having this. And a lot of that study has been changed. And the thing I find interesting about most of these studies, if you delve into them, they don't want to do any new ones. So when data comes out, so like the one where the American Heart, where they came out and said, that meat causes diabetes, they didn't go get new information. They didn't go out and ask people now how they're eating. They went back to the 1980 studies and based all their decisions based off of the answers from those questionnaires from back in the 80s. So it's absolutely insane what they're doing, and they put this out like it's brand new information, but it's all the same information, just trying to regurgitate it to you in a different fashion.
And no one eats like we did in the 80s anymore. I grew up in that time. We don't eat like that anymore. We had family dinners almost all the time, and it was home cooked. We didn't go out to eat 3-4 times a month or a week, even not even a month. We went out maybe once a month. We went to McDonald's maybe once a month. You look at what people are eating today, Chick-fil-A all the time, drive-through all the time, completely different. So those answers don't even, like you said, they don't correlate to what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So it's bad data.
I live in East Tennessee. I live in the South, and I can tell you right now that on any given day at 5 o'clock, you know what the busiest places are?
Chick-fil-A,
Taco Bell, McDonald's, Hardee's. You look at those places, the lines are up and around the building. People are too lazy to even walk inside. You can walk inside and order food immediately and walk right out the door and be gone in 5 minutes. These people are pulling in there. They're going through the drive-through. They're ordering, their combo meals with their big sodas, and that's their dinner. Nobody goes home and cooks anything anymore. And I don't care where you're at. If you drive around here, every single drive-through is going to be overflowing with people.
Yeah, Zoe Harcum has a good video on debunking fiber, where she does meta-analysis of all the data, of all the studies, and puts them together. And she has a great website too that basically makes like cliff notes of all the studies that tell you what was done, what was good about it, what was bad about it, what the outcome was. And then she writes a challenge paper if it's wrong, what she found wrong, because she usually does find stuff that's wrong, after she actually contacts the scientists that did it and let them rebut her argument, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So it's very fair. If you go there, you'll find on any of these studies, you can find what the study's real thing is, and including they have something called an NNT, which is number needed to treat. which is the relative risk versus actual absolute risk. So they also show all the studies and show when they're using relative risk and show the real risk, right? Like I said, the lottery ticket risk, right? So that's the answer. That's how you learn that. So that's a great video. I definitely check out Zoe Harcum. She's awesome.
I'm going to throw this up there and say the backwoods is always better than living in the city. I'll just throw that out there. No.
Yeah. I'm not quite backwoods, but I'm country where if I make a left out of the neighborhood, I'm in the pastures with the cows, and I can stop at a farmer and shake his hand. And if I make a right, I'm on I-35 heading down to Austin. So it's a good spot. There's only no stoplights in my town. None.
Oh, man. That's a dream.
I love the country life. Trust me.
Yeah.
I don't see any more questions in here, Larry. Did you see any?
No. I'll go ahead to the next one because this is great too. Myth 6. The carnivore diet is boring. Yeah, I just get bored of being in shape and feeling awesome. I get so bored of it. It's like, man, why can't I get some aches in my life? Why can't I get sick? I miss it, right? No, let me fact. Here's a fact.
Yeah.
Well, the carnivore. Go ahead. John?
I would say, the being able to sleep at night fully through the night, not having to get up at 3 a.m. for that bathroom run and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff's just so boring. I really miss it.
Yeah. Here's what Google says. Fact. While a carnivore diet excludes many common food groups, there is still a surprising variety available. Different cuts of meat, organ meats, seafood, eggs, and dairy products offer various flavors and textures to keep things interesting. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and I would
say I don't miss, not that I ever was a big cook. I'm just not a foodie. And so I don't want to spend a lot of time cooking things. And so it's very convenient for me. So I have time to do other things that are more of a priority in my life, spending more time with family or working on stuff for my YouTube channel or just whatever. I just have time more for exercise. So it's just wonderful for me. So I'm not bored at all. I have plenty that I can eat that I like to eat. So to me, my life is far from boring. I don't want and here's the thing though, when you focus so much time on food prep, shopping for food, preparing the food, then if there's leftovers, you got to, put all that up. And it's just, and here, the planning, like planning your meals from day to day. Okay, well, what are we having tonight? And then just going through and figuring that out, making sure you've laid out whatever it is you're going to, got your ingredients and everything together for what you're going to fix. And of course, a lot of people don't do that anymore. Like, to John's point, they don't cook at home much. But even the critics who do cook at home, I mean, it's unless you just truly enjoy cooking, that just to me seems like an awful lot of time thinking about something that all animals on this planet, they get hungry, they kill something and they eat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
you're a foodie.
And they don't think about it again. And they don't even really they don't think about what they're going to kill either. They just, oh, okay, that moved. I'm going to kill that and I'm going to eat it.
Yep.
That's it. Simple.
Well, if you're a foodie and your life revolves around eating from meal to meal to meal, I can understand how somebody who doesn't do this way of eating would think that it would get boring. But a good way to keep it from being that way, what things that I do is I cook, and not only do I try to do all the meats, but I try to do all the meats in different ways with different methods. I'll use cast iron skillets, I'll grill, I'll smoke stuff, I'll sous vide things, I'll make things in the crock pot. There's a bunch of different ways to prepare the food and to have it. So, I could eat probably 100 different meals and have and them all be different in some way, but only maybe be 10 different kinds of meats.
Well, I was
a lot of variety.
I was a foodie, so much so that every time I picked my son up, I'd have the whole weekend planned out because I have him on weekends every other weekend. I'd have all the meals planned out, and that would be the entertainment of staying at Dad's. So like, all right, we're gonna have spaghetti meatballs Friday. We're gonna have omelets on Saturday morning. We're gonna have grilled cheese sandwiches, and that was like all the thing I would do, right? Mac and cheese, hot dogs, whatever. I plan it all out, and then even going on vacation. When I went to Disney World every year, because we used to, we're not going this year. We're going to Universal now because we don't like Disney anymore. But anyway, I would plan out all our reservations 6 months in advance because I could make sure we got in the restaurants as part of the experience, right? And this year, I'm bringing an air fryer and hitting a Costco down there, and I'm loading up, and I'm going to cook in the hotel room on the because guess what? I'm going to save bank. I mean, you go out those parks, and it's crazy, but that was all part of the experience. I was really into the experience, and to be honest, it's hard on social things now when I go on dates and such because I'm single, because everyone's into the food experience, and that's pretty much a date typically. Oh, we lost John. Hopefully, it's just your camera, John. But
it was just me scratching my nose and didn't want to do it on screen. Thanks.
I thought you had the satellite drop again.
He's getting a little extra protein.
Yeah. So anyway,
I got for some reason I got itching nose today, and I'm like, I don't want to be over here to scratching my nose on the screen. So
you got
thanks for pointing it out, though.
Got to cut coffee out. Just kidding, man. I know you like your coffee. So that's it. I'm just saying,
I don't know what makes you say that. Let me hear.
As a foodie, it was a change, but now I just look at food as a biological function and not necessarily entertainment. So I just eat and then go do something, and that's way better. It's much fewer dishes, fewer prep, fewer cleaning. Everything's easier. I don't even use half the stuff in my kitchen anymore. And
no muss, no fuss.
That's it.
I would say this, that it used to be eating was like the highlight of your day.
Yes.
It was like what you look forward to. It was like, oh, I can't wait to, maybe I'm going to go eat this, or I'm going to have that. I'm going to cook this. And now, I mean, I know what I'm eating, but it's not the highlight of my day. I'd rather be working on other stuff. I'd rather be working on, things that I'm working on for my channel or for real estate or whatever it is. And so I don't even think about eating. So it's not that it's boring. It's just not the highlight of my day. The rest of my day is more important now than what I'm eating, because now food's only become, nutrition. It's not become some thing that I have to worship.
Eat like a caveman. Eat when you're hungry.
It's gonna rhyme with steak.
Yeah, eat fatty meats and then eat till you're satiated.
All right, we're 57 minutes in. We got 58 people in here. We appreciate you guys for joining us. So we're going to continue on for a little bit. Everybody's good with it. Where are we at? Myth 7 or 6 or what are we on?
We're on 8.
7.
Oh no, 7.
We're on 8.
No, 7. I'm sorry.
7. Okay. So I mean, we got like 3 more. If we could pound them out here, we'll hang out for it. If everybody's good for it.
Yeah, I'm good.
And this is good stuff, Larry. I'm glad you came up with this. I give you full credit. I was struggling for what this week's Carnivore Roundtable was going to be about, and Larry's the man. He came up with the idea, and he's leading the show, so we appreciate him.
All right. Carnivore diet is expensive. Okay, fact. The cost of the carnivore diet can vary depending on the quality and sourcing of meat. Buying bulk, choosing less expensive cuts, and incorporating organ meats can make it more budget friendly. That's all true, but I can tell you right now, it is way cheaper when you don't buy any ingredients. You don't buy any of this other stuff you used to buy, and all you're buying is meat. Over time, I did a video on carnivore and $40 a week, and that thing, since right before Thanksgiving, has 68,000 views in like 4.5 weeks.
That's awesome.
So it's crazy because people are looking, and if you can do it for and just BBB&E, which is bacon, beef, butter, and eggs and salt. And you can do that for about $40 to $50 a week easily, which is way cheaper. So it's totally doable. What do you guys think? Have you guys saved money on your carnivore?
So we went from spending between $800 to $900 a month, on the standard American diet, and that was what we were eating at home, not counting all the eating out we were doing. So, I mean, that was another, several $100s a month. So, I mean, we were easily over $1,000. $1,200 a month that we were spending on food. On the carnivore diet, we're averaging between $400 to $500 for food now a month. So I mean, I've cut my food bill in half. So no, it's not expensive.
How about y'all? Carrie, Hoosier, Brett?
Well, I live with a bunch of non-carnivores, so
Wow.
I can't really say that my food bill's gone down a lot, but I know I spend less on what I eat. Sure, steak is expensive, but when you watch for sales and you stock up when the time's right, yeah, the $40, $50 a week is totally doable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you make ground beef and eggs your base. If that's your base, which is fantastic, then you're doing great. And throw in some bacon for some variety and butter and salt. It's good. Totally affordable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same here. And I mean, I was like what you'd call ketovore before I discovered carnivore a year ago. Actually, my carniversary was either the 26th or the 27th. I don't remember the exact date that I started, but that was when my friend gave me all that meat, my neighbor. So anyway, I was ketovore, so I wasn't eating very many vegetables before that. But I can tell you my grocery bill it's certainly not more than it used to be. Now, I will say that I have started buying more steaks and things like that I wasn't buying. So it did go up some from that ketovore point, but I can tell you that if I were eating the regular standard diet, I mean, people talk about how expensive meat is, but everything else is expensive too. Like I've gone shopping, like I've been to the grocery store with friends, for example, like if we've had to run in and they were getting something, and you see the prices of the items on the shelf. I don't know that it's, when you're adding all of that stuff in. Now, I think one thing is that people think that they would be buying the other stuff plus meat. They're not really, and some people may have to do that if they're the only one in their family who is carnivore. So yeah, I get that. But if you're only buying just the meat, you factor in just how expensive everything is, I don't see that it's any more expensive. And you can eat, and I eat a lot of cheap carnivore items, and I've gotten criticism for it, but it doesn't matter to me. I eat bologna. I eat hot dogs.
Yep.
I eat Vienna sausages. I eat those things. Now, do I eat them every single day? No. Do I eat them 24/7? No, but I eat Spam. I also eat sardines. I eat cod livers. So I do eat a lot of the canned meats. I did not used to eat a lot of sardines and cod livers, though. That's new. But I guess the point is, yes, it's very economical. And I throw in some steaks. I used to primarily eat ground beef, eggs, bacon, and I've started getting beef bacon, which is a little bit more expensive. But so that's.
I would say this, and I don't have exact numbers, but I would say this: if you spent $20 on red meat and you spent $20 on vegetables, and we're not even talking about all the other crap that we just say, if you ate $20 in vegetables, you're going to get 3-4 times the amount of nutrients from $20 of red meat than you'll ever get out of the vegetables, because most of those nutrients aren't even available to you. Your body can't even get to them.
That's
most
right.
of it, goes right out into the toilet at the end of the day, and you didn't get any of it. So, you're getting a much better nutrients load coming out of red meat than you'll ever see from vegetables.
Yeah, if you look at them, and I wish they would show that. Now they show price per ounce. I wish they'd show price per nutrient density. But even if you did price per calorie, right? Even if you did price per calorie, which is not what we count in carnivore, but people looking at that argument probably are still counting calories or familiar with it because they're coming into the diet. So if you're looking at price per calorie, the price per calorie of vegetables versus price per calorie of red meat is hugely different. You get so many more calories, which is really valuable out of that meat than you do. And like he said, it's not even bioavailable on the vegetables, even though you get those calories. They're fiber. They're going right through your butt. They're not going to help your body at all. So,
yeah. And one last thing on this, the carnivore diet and eating meat is more satiating.
Yeah.
Whereas you're eating the typical American diet, you may be eating 3 or 4, 5 times a day, where with carnivore, you're only eating twice a day. So you're eating less. And, if you think time is money, there's a little factor there too. So there's all different kinds of ways you can measure affordability.
Oh yeah, shopping.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Shopping is like streamlined. Everything's streamlined. Doing dishes, everything's streamlined.
Yep.
It's way easier.
I just got an idea for a video.
Good. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We're looking forward to it.
Myth 8. The carnivore diet is unsustainable. Here's Google says. Google Bard. Fact. The sustainability of carnivore diet depends on several factors, including the type of animal agriculture and the overall demand. Choosing ethically raised, pasture-raised animals can promote sustainable practices. So from sustainable, they're not talking about sustainable like humans sustaining it and surviving.
Right.
They're talking about the environment. I agree with that. I think
Yeah.
it is. I would opt for more ethically raised and better raised beef if I could. But sometimes I just go to Costco, be honest, because convenience, you know. So I support it, and I recognize it's better. I don't always practice it.
I've heard people ask, what if the whole world was carnivore? Could you feed the world? This may not be the sustainable that we're talking about, but if you have to feed the world, I can tell you, living in a farming state in Indiana, if all the farmland here in Indiana, in just our one little state, was cow pastures, lamb, pig, chickens, buffalo, all the good things, we could grow enough meat here just in Indiana to probably feed the entire United States and probably Canada as well. I mean, there is so much land here that's used to grow soy and corn. It's insane. I mean,
Yep.
Millions of acres.
Thanks to government subsidies. Because
Yep.
they pay for it, you know.
So
when you factor in the fact that you only need to eat once or twice a day for meat or for animal based versus everything else, so I mean your capacity to eat is going to be less, and then you throw that in there and your nutrients levels are going to be healthier. You're going to end up using the restroom less. I mean, the whole the impact to the environment would be dramatic. Just think about if everybody had to use their bathroom less and we were wasting less water flushing it down the toilet.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. I mean, there's so many things out there that we consume a ton of outside of eating because of the way we consume food that leads to it. You throw in medical and the need for drugs. And you start taking all that stuff out of the equation. I mean, the impact could be astronomical across the globe.
Yeah, you think about our Medicare system, how it would be lightened if everyone, just the elderly people started eating, just retirees started eating carnivore. Medicare would probably, a lot of people would come off Social Security disability. You see a lot of things changing, right?
Yeah,
that is so true. And then you were talking about bathroom frequency. And I will tell you that when I did not have any running water because of a water meter leak in my yard, I didn't have running water for 2 days. And that could have been a very nasty situation because I couldn't flush the toilet. And it wasn't that there was a problem with the toilet. There was just no water. Right. So that could have been a terrible situation. And so I was very thankful that I don't eat a lot of fiber and and was very thankful that I, did not have to frequent the restroom as much as many people that I know do. So good point.
Yeah, I agree that, the economy would definitely crash because it's based on our sickness, our being unhealthy, eating garbage. Everything out there is based on, the economy would crash, but it would recover and there would be a whole new economy that would come out of it. But the current economy couldn't sustain it. And the people who are getting rich off it would be hurting. And that's why they fight against it. That's why they try to silence our voices.
It's trillions of dollars.
Oh yeah. That's what we're up against. It's literally David versus Goliath. That's what it is. And we're up against that. So that's why I'm going to plug this right now because I think it's super important. Everyone watching, thumbs up this video, like and subscribe to all these content creators, and then share this stuff and other videos out on social media because the algorithm doesn't pick this stuff up very good. So you have to kind of push the rope and drive it.
As controversial as this live is, wouldn't be surprised if YouTube shut it down on us, but we'll see how it plays out there.
Yeah. Well, we're using Google's algorithm, and that's part of YouTube, right? So there you go.
There you go.
It's using their answers. All right. So myth number 9, the carnivore diet is dangerous for everyone. It's only dangerous to those companies. But fact, while the carnivore diet may be beneficial for some individuals, it is not suitable for everyone. I disagree, but okay. People with certain health conditions, pregnant or breastfeeding women, and children should consult healthcare professionals before trying this diet. I agree with that. I think consulting with a healthcare professional is not going to hurt and probably is a good idea, but I don't think it's dangerous at all for anyone. I really don't.
No.
Yeah, ask Ken Berry's wife, Nisha. She's a certified breastfeeding consultant, and she'll tell you that the carnivore diet is ideal for breastfeeding.
I would throw this out there because this comes up, and this is a liability thing, and we all do it on our channels, right? You need to consult with the doctor before making any decisions in your diet. So I mean, it's a liability thing. None of us want to be liable. Google doesn't want to be liable for giving you information. So reach out, talk to your doctor. But honestly, if your doctor's against it, I probably would give me a second or third opinion on it until I found some other people out there. Just because one doctor has an opinion that says that I need to eat fiber and I need to do this doesn't make that doctor's opinion 100% correct. So yeah, do your due diligence, do your research, and don't just, because somebody reaches out and says, don't do this, you're going to get cancer. Should you just stop? You should reach out and get a few people's opinions. And I agree. Don't trust us. We're just a bunch of talking heads on here. Go out and talk to some people about it. I mean, and look at Dr. Berry and look at Dr. Anthony Chafee and all the other doctors that are out there, Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Tony Hampton, Lisa Wiedemann. I mean, there's a lot of good information out there. But definitely, you need to get your research and make sure that you're doing it for you, because only you know what's going on with you. And that's the important thing for us is what works for me doesn't work for Larry. I drink coffee. Larry doesn't drink coffee. We're both thriving on the diet. Does that mean that one of us is wrong? No. We just have different points of view on how we're doing the diet. And I may change mine. And he may change his view at some point. That's our prerogative.
And that's based on how our bodies act. I mean, I can eat a different diet than Michaela Peterson does because my body is not as sensitive. John can drink coffee because his body doesn't have the injuries I have that flare up. So, I mean, it's not an opinion. It's just the way it is. I mean, so you have to learn your body, become the expert. Your doctor is definitely not the subject matter expert on your body because he's not living in your skin. You are. You have to actually become the educated expert. And yeah, so I would totally agree with that. And if your doctor I like to run a little filter on a doctor. If they're going to start giving me, before I start taking advice, if they start giving me that kind of advice, I'll just say, hey, can you tell me the difference between relative risk and absolute risk when it comes to like benefits of medicine? Can you explain that to me? If they can't explain it, boom, then drop them. Go to another doctor because if they don't understand that, then they can't give you good advice because they don't know the difference of the risk that they're telling you, like what your real risk is. So that's a good filter.
And you need a doctor that believes in metabolic health. I mean, that's the key. There's some doctors that they just believe in pharmacology and they're going to prescribe you drugs and that's their thing. And if that's your doctor, then I'd highly be looking around for another doctor. You can go online and look up dietdoctor.com, low carb doctor. I mean, there's different Google searches you can do, and you can find doctors who are coming around to the fact that this is a metabolic health problem, not something that we can just prescribe a pill for and cure. So, do your research.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, even if your doctor is not like just jumping up and down with joy because you're opting to eat a different way. I mean, I think, first of all, there are misconceptions out there. The term carnivore just sounds to a lot of people very intimidating and very, extreme. No offense, but like overly masculine, or you know what I'm saying? There are a lot of misconceptions out there about what it is and who eats carnivore, and for that matter, even keto. So, like, for example, the subject of food doesn't come up a whole lot when I see my doctor, but when it does, I've basically just said that I don't eat processed foods, I don't eat grains, I eliminated sugar, and I eliminated toxic vegetables. Now, granted, that's a little bit of omission there because I think all vegetables for the most part are toxic. So that's why, so I've eliminated toxic, but here's the thing. It's like, no problem with it. And I think if you go in and talk with somebody, not with, I think this, or I think that, or I believe this. And even if you've got studies, I mean, approach them, because think about it as a professional. If somebody came in and just tried to tell you how to do your job.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen. I'm in IT, but I've had people try to tell me how to do what I do. And it's very, it brings your defenses up. So I'm not saying that doctors have an excuse to act badly toward people. Not at all. If somebody is truly disrespectful to you, then yes, you need to find somebody else. But also just, I have just found that if you're kinder to people and you just don't get in your face with them, that like this goes from doctors to wait staff. I don't say, now, do you all cook in seed oils? Because I can't have seed oils, blah, blah, blah. I'll be like, I have some dietary issues and I would really appreciate, could you find out what they cook the meat in? Man, you would be just being nice and kind and not making a production of it, and also leaving good tips. But so I guess what I'm trying to say is just treat people like humans. And then, there are jerks in every profession. So, you have to.
I just tell, when I go to a restaurant, you just tell them, look, I'm allergic to seed oils, to vegetable oils. Can you make sure that when they cook my steak that it doesn't come in contact with vegetable oils?
Yeah, and if you're nice to people and kind and considerate, I have not had anybody refuse a substitution yet. Like I'll get my go-to at just about any restaurant is their bacon cheeseburger. And I will ask for a substitution for any sides. And I'll say, could I perhaps get a couple extra pieces of bacon instead of the fries? Oh, well, I don't see why not. But I say it I don't know. I'm just not. I have been with people in the past, not very many, and not necessarily who are carnivores. Matter of fact, this person ate quite the opposite and was very, I don't know, it was just like almost pretentious about it. And I just find that when you just are human toward another human, that most of the time you get better results. That's my little tip for the day.
It's a good one.
Absolutely.
You guys ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Drum roll.
The last one is myth number 10. The carnivore diet is a quick fix for weight loss. And that's a myth. And I like that because, listen, this is what they say. And I'm going to give my 2 cents, but of course, because I always do. Fat. While the carnivore diet can lead to weight loss for some, it is not guaranteed or a sustainable solution. Disagree, but okay. Individual results vary. Agree. And long-term health should always be the primary focus. Agree. So I agree and disagree with this. I would say that some people may not lose weight right away or may not lose weight depending on where they started from, right? Me, I lost 24 pounds in the first 4 weeks and I've lost 46 pounds overall. So you will lose weight, but it is completely sustainable because this way of eating is the only way I've had that's actually sustainable. But it's not a quick fix. Because people look at this like, oh, I'm going to do this carnivore diet before spring break to get ready for bikini time, right? Or whatever. And they hit that. That's the wrong way to look at it. You have to look at it as like, I'm going to heal my body and change my life, is really, because carnivore diet is really one of the only life-changing, one of the very few life-changing events in my life. Like being a father, life-changing event. Coming out of the military, life-changing event. Getting married, life-changing event. These are things that change your identity, right? Getting divorced, life-changing event. These are things that are major waypoints in your life, because when you come out the other side, you're a different person and you have a different identity. And being a carnivore actually is one of those things. It's hard to believe, but that's why I can get on here with these three strangers, and have a huge amount in common and talk like we've known each other for 5 years. Right here, boom. Yeah. It's amazing because it is. So I think this is completely sustainable.
I would say this, and this may sound controversial, but when I say it, but if you look at YouTube and you go out and you search all the different carnivore channels out there, or keto channels out there, those of us who have taken this on as a lifestyle, this is what it is. It's very sustainable, and we don't have slip ups. We're not, it's not our, we're not out it for weight loss. We're not out it for building, monetary gain from YouTube, because honestly, that's never going to happen anyways. But there are some that struggle, and their goals are based on weight loss. They're based on financial gain of the channel or whatever it is. And so they struggle all the time. But those of us who are simply into it for the lifestyle, we're rock solid. Do I get off diet occasionally? Yeah. Do I get right back on? Absolutely. And if I've done a couple of things and I went, oh man, I feel like crap, and then I'm right back on track. It's validated that I cannot do that. I ate 5 cookies. Somebody handed me some cookies over Christmas. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat these because I don't want to be rude to the person in front of me. Right. So I ate these 5 cookies and I felt my knees hurt. My body ached. I felt like crap. My stomach was rolling, and I'm like, oh my God, I am never doing that again.
Yeah.
Do I need to go post a video about it on YouTube? And no, I'm not going to do that. But but it is a fact. And so I think, your mindset is everything. Is the carnivore diet for weight loss? No. And that's how I got here. I started off with weight loss as my thoughts. A lot of us started off, but once you realize the health potential and the ultimate benefits of this, it's no longer about weight loss for me. I don't care if I lose another pound. As long as I can feel healthy and be healthy and have energy, I'm 100% into this diet.
Yeah. Yeah. And while, you could lose weight quickly by just switching from whatever you're eating to pure carnivore, I wouldn't recommend it. But I think you'll find if you do try that and you make it through the conversion to it, you'll find that you won't want to go back. That's right. What I found. I don't want to go back.
Yeah. And a key is what you said earlier about Larry, and John, actually, about like lifestyle and everything. It is a way of life. So I think initially what happens is someone might just be like, I want to lose weight or just whatever. And so they try all these different things. But what it boils down to is how you see yourself and who you want to be. And that was an important lesson to learn. So while no, I wasn't doing it to lose weight or anything, I knew one thing, and that was that I do not want to become type 2 diabetic. So I have people say to me, oh, you didn't have any of that. Like I had a work function and there were all kinds of sweets and goodies that I could have had and dishes that were prepared. And I felt kind of bad about it, but I didn't eat any of I ate meat. That was all I ate. And people were like, oh, how can you pass that up? And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, I'm not sticking a needle in me. I'm not doing it. Now, I never was diabetic, but my mother was. And I saw how that life is. So I am just like, I'm a non-diabetic. That's how I think of myself. So I think when people get down into it and it's a way of life, it's just a part of who they are. It's not something they're doing to get from point A to point B. It is just a part of their existence.
Yeah, it's not a quick fix. That's why I like that question, because it isn't. It's a permanent change. Mm-hmm. And once you embrace that, and you don't know it at first because you've never been, like we said, you've never been in a vehicle like this. You've never put work into something that puts this output. And once you get into it, you'll never want to go. I mean, that's just, and the thing is, you do have to have a well-defined why, and it needs to be big though. And that's what, when I see people saying they're failing and getting back on and getting off and getting back on, because they have not set up a defined why. Theirs might be to lose 13 pounds for spring break, and that's not big enough.
Right.
You know, you really need something big. Like, I don't want to get cancer. I don't want to have Alzheimer's. I want to be there for my son when he has his first child and gets married. That's a big why. And when you grab onto that, or your own health, so when you grab onto that, then it's easy. It's super easy. Absolutely.
Hey guys, I'm going to put my email address down here on the little ticker. I'm looking for people who want to be on the Carnivore Roundtable. We do this every Sunday at 1:00. There's lots of channels in here. There's several channels on here that I know have never been on the Roundtable. I'd love to have you. So send me an email, carnivorebackwoods@gmail.com. And, I'll send you out my link for the calendar, and you can sign up We have 4 to 5 people. We were supposed to have 5 on here today, but Kat had a family emergency, so I'm not sure what that's about. But if you're the praying type, please pray for Kat, and hopefully everything's going well with her, because I had this live with her, and then I was supposed to be on a one-on-one live with her this evening that she also canceled out. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but we'll definitely keep her in our thoughts. Anyways, with that, this has been a great roundtable, and I want to thank Larry again, because I was struggling. I've been off track here the last few months with the channel, and I sent him a message a few days ago. I'm like, hey, what are we going to talk about this Sunday? Because I'm at a blank, other than we're going to talk about carnivore, obviously. And he shot back a couple of different ideas, and I was like, myths, that's perfect. I had planned on getting the everything set up on it earlier, but unfortunately my schedule just didn't work out, so I didn't get it done till today. But I think this was a great one. I appreciate all him doing this. I know he's got a video that he's going to be coming out on this very topic, so we're kind of like preluding to his video. But go over, subscribe to his channel, and watch that video, and give us the support, and share it, and put it out there for people to read, because the myths on this stuff is just garbage, and we only touched 10 of them. There's 100 more that we could have talked about today, and so you just got to educate people. And apparently Google's getting educated, because it's coming out with better answers than I think you would have got a year ago. Larry, let's go around here. Final thoughts. What's on your mind, sir? What do you want to share?
Yeah, so actually I do have a video coming out today too, which is the 2024 New Year's resolution video, where I talk about developing that why and how to launch yourself, either rededicate or launch yourself into carnivore, or maybe go like Lion, challenge yourself for 30 days. And that's what's coming out today. So this evening, keep an eye out for it. It's going to be a great video.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Brett, once again, I appreciate having you on here. Your background makes me hungry every time I sit here and watch it all day. It's like, if I had that much beef, in the freezer, man, I'd be set, wouldn't I?
Oh, we'd all be set.
Sir, what's on your mind? What do you want to share with us here at the end of this?
Well, thanks again for having me on. It's always it's always fun getting on here and chatting with you guys and answering questions. And just I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. If you've got a resolution to start carnivore or do something fresh or change something, go for it. I'm going live on my channel at 4 p.m. Eastern to talk about my fasting challenge that I'm starting tomorrow. I'm having my last meal today for 9 days. I'm going to do a 9-day fasting. Anybody who wants to participate in that, just send me an email or shoot me a message. I'll include your channel and give you shout outs as I do my daily progression. You don't have to do 9 days. If you want to do 1 day or, whatever, I just, give it a try. If you've never tried it, educate yourself about it. Watch some videos about fasting and the benefits you can get from it. So that's just what I'm going to go live at 4 o'clock to talk about real quick. It's not going to be a long live, but wanted to kind of kick things off with that. And I'll be doing daily updates as I go through my 9-day fasting process.
Outstanding. Looking through the comments here, I mean, you guys are blowing up the comments. I mean, you guys you're having a great chat out there. I'm not sure which channels you're on, but we appreciate you guys. We've had up to almost 70 people in the live stream in the chat today. That was awesome. I appreciate it. All right, Carrie, my metamorphosis.
Yes.
What's your thoughts? How you want to close out your conversation on here today?
I just first of all want to wish everybody a happy new year. 2024 is going to be a great one. A year ago, I never would have dreamed that I would be a part of the carnivore community. I mean, I've been low carb since 2015, but I never was really involved in communities. I read blogs and then later watched some YouTube videos here and there. And now my life has changed. I've met so many great people, and I consider you all friends. So thank you so much for welcoming me with open arms. And I've enjoyed this year. I know. I just love everybody. And then what's coming up, I'm going to do a reflection video. I meant to do it before now, and I have no excuse, so I'm just going to own it. But reflecting on the past year, and then what I'm looking forward to in 2024. And I've also been working on shirt designs, and I don't know, I've got my latest one. It is, now you all know who Pink Floyd is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Love me some Pink Floyd.
Can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here we go. Forget the pudding. Eat your meat.
Love it.
Okay. So I've got a spread shop. So if anybody is interested, I've got a few shirts out there. And I love concert shirts and I love T-shirts. You've probably already figured that out. I'm so glad I don't have to go to the office anymore.
Yeah, me too. I'm 100% remote.
Oh, gosh. But anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be a great one.
Yep. Outstanding. Guys, it's been an amazing year.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess it just kind of dawned on me, you know, that this is probably my last live stream of the year. So no, it's been a great year. You know, March 1st started Carnivore Diet, started this YouTube channel pretty much at the end of July. You know, it's been an interesting, I'm a little over 100 videos, looking forward to next year. What I will throw out there is me and Carrie are going to have a meetup in February the 11th, and we're going to start hashing out the details of that. Since now we're in January, I definitely want to get that done. So we're going to pick a place and we're going to put it out there. And if you want to have a meetup with us in Nashville, we're just going to get together probably at a barbecue place or something and be able to talk and chat and, you know, have a good time. Looking forward to that. So, you know, reach out to me. Once again, you can email me, carnivorebackwoods@gmail.com if you want to get included in that, or you can reach out on my Facebook page. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. We look forward to talking to you. Do me a favor, go to each one of these guys' channel and just type in a comment. Tell them thank you for the live stream today. Just give them one comment saying thank you for the live stream. It will do wonders for their channel if everybody would just go in there and post a quick comment on, you know, not in the comments, you know, in the chat, but in the actual comments section. Just tell them thank you for the live stream today, and you'll be amazed on how much that'll improve our channel's ability to reach out there. Guys, you all have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one. And, you know, we're always looking forward to new conversations and new topics.
Yeah.
All right.
This is awesome.